All right, we're live. Welcome back to another episode, Tuesday Night Live on the 10 Horse Money Fishing YouTube channel. Man, it's finally falling around here. We had a bunch of snow, Caz. I don't know. Did you guys get a lot of snow or not?
We did there for a little while. We had about 8 inches there while I was in Florida. Thank goodness. I missed it all. But I came back and it was 70 degrees here today. It was nice.
Yeah, that's what we had today. Well, we had like 67, 68, and
I knew it was coming.
I did it again. I wasn't even trying to do it. That's funny. But yeah, I was like, on the way home from work, my father-in-law called me and he's like, where are you at? And I was like, I'm on my way home from work. And he's like, well, I was taking down some Christmas lights around the pond and I got my lawnmower stuck. And I'm like, well, that's going to happen when you got, 10 inches of snow that decides to melt off in a couple days. And so I said, well, as soon as I get home, I'll walk down there. And I walk down there and he's got himself dug in pretty good. So we're going to break out the tractor, I think tomorrow or the next day, and see if we can
tow that joker out.
Yeah, it was soupy. I took a couple 2x4s down there and I wedged them underneath there, and it was just
wasn't happening.
No, it was a lost cause. So we'll deal with that in the next couple days.
I got a 4-wheel drive tractor and I put the front tires in the front of the pond. About this fall, I was trying to be brave and not have to. Well, I wasn't trying to be brave. I was just trying to be smarter and not have to weed eat the whole pond levee. And I slipped that front of that tractor down there, and it just goes.
Mm-hmm.
She was stuck.
Yeah,
that happened to us. Yeah, that's happened all the time.
I was walking.
A buddy of mine got stuck at Rayburn last year at the Bass Open. A buddy of mine, Christian, drives a Sprinter van. He lives in California, 2-wheel drive Sprinter van. And he parked it at our Airbnb in the grass. We got record rains that week. I mean, all tires just up to the running boards. Ugh. And we had to get a chain and broke a couple chains. And then, it was the biggest mess. We were all crawling around in the mud. It was our off day. We were just all in the most sour moods. I think I finished in the hundreds that tournament because of that whole incident.
At least you can blame it on something, right?
Yeah,
making memories, man. You're out there making memories.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about that.
Yeah, so we got pretty good weather for the next week or so, which is nice. Most of our lakes still have ice. For the most part, I was able to actually go fishing today. We got a little power plant lake not too far from here, and it's kind of got a trickle of hot water. They kind of shut down production on it about 6 years ago, but it's got just enough hot water to keep it open most of the time. But I had to actually break ice off the boat ramp. There's about 4 feet of ice that was sucked up to the concrete, and I got a 2x2. There was a 2x2 laying by the shop there, and I just grabbed it and kind of punched it out, and it kind of cleared out. And there was a little pathway to where I could get my John boat out around the corner of the docks and stuff. And then once I got around the corner there, I was okay. But a lot of the, the backs of the coves and stuff were still frozen up. But I think well, that was yesterday. They were though. Yeah. I was fishing right next to ice. I was catching, it was 37 degrees and I was getting them on a jerk bait, like right next.
The water was 37 degrees.
Yeah. It's 37 degrees.
Dang, bro.
That gets in my head. 42 degrees to me is where anything below 42, that's when it kind of starts getting really tough for me.
Yes.
But 37, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to get a bite. And they were still biting fairly well. I was kind of surprised.
Spotted bass here where I live, cold snaps this time of year usually – that'll trigger them and make them bite sometimes. You never see like a shutdown because of cold weather. But when it gets that cold, like the weights this past weekend at Lake Chateau where I live, I think it took 13 pounds to win, which is like the lowest I have heard of in years. I mean, this is a 18 to 22 pound lake every time. Yes. And 13 pounds took the dub. And a very, very, very good fisherman won. So I know that there were some quality fishermen in it that definitely had some scope. And the wind blew and it was cold. It was perfect cranking conditions this time of year. Usually if the wind blows and it's a little cold or it snows, there's going to be multiple 20-pound bags, all spots. And it was just brutal tough. Just the water's so cold, shad kill is just brutal.
Huh.
It took 19 with 4 over there on Saturday.
Where? Oh, at Egypt.
Yeah.
That lake's healthy, man. The last couple of years, it's really come on strong. They had
Out of 7 too. So
yeah, and there was a couple 6s and a bunch of 5s. They were biting good. I mean,
that's intense. There are some big ones. I fished in Florida for a month and I caught 1 7-pounder.
Yeah, at least you were in Florida. I mean,
yeah, the water temp at Lake Harris on the Harris chain this past weekend was 44 to 49 degrees.
That's cold for Florida.
Cold. Them bass were not biting worth nothing.
Yeah,
it was brutal. Ended up, thankfully, doing well. In the first tournament of the year, was in the hunt to do pretty good. But, man, it was just a tough deal on that last day. I ended up not catching any bass on that last day. Fell from 8th to 30th in the pro circuit.
So when did you get down there? You guys get like 3 days of practice? How's the pro circuit work on that?
It's 3 days of practice.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 days of practice. So I was down there for the dual threat team trail on Okeechobee and on the St. Johns River. So I left, I think, January 15th or 14th, and I got back the day before yesterday, or at 2 o'clock in the morning the night before last.
Wow.
So I've been gone for a while.
Yeah. I bet it feels good to get home, though. Just kind of rest your bones a little bit.
Yeah. I love being on the road, man. I really do. It's a fun lifestyle, but I miss the family, and I got a girlfriend that she came down and flew down and hung out for a couple days to kind of split the time, but it you get to missing the folks pretty bad, but it's that's the lifestyle, and it's a lot of fun. It's how I'm going to make my living for the rest of my life, so I better learn to love it, right?
I like it, man. I like it. That's a dream that a lot of us, wanted to try, but not everybody, did it. It's kind of like one of the deals where you're at the right age where you got to do it right now before it gets by you. And,
yeah, no kidding. I'm realizing now, like, that all this stuff has got real. I'm like, holy moly, how in the world are we going to afford anything? And it was definitely a motivational thing to work really hard, and you got to come at this thing from all angles, with the content side and the socials and the YouTube and all that stuff, and realizing that there is money to be made with media deals. At the end of the day, you just got to work really hard to make it work. But I couldn't see myself surviving doing anything else. Really, I love it so much. So I'll do whatever it takes to make it work, as long as the future fam is fed and comfortable and we can make it work. I'm going to keep doing it. So
right. Well, let's give us a little background on your your movement towards the tournament fishing scene. Have you been?
Yeah.
Were you born and raised in North Carolina, and then how'd you get into fishing?
Yeah. So this is kind of a cool story. So I was born here in Hayesville, North Carolina. It's a super small town. My dad, loves the outdoors, not a tournament fisherman really, but got me into the outdoors. And when I was growing up, would let me go fish with, whoever, just to learn. And I quickly fell in love with it by 8 years old. I can remember going out one day after school. I was 8, so probably, second grade. And he took me out on the lake. He had an old Skeeter boat and was in a bass club. And went out with me and him and my brother, and I actually remember catching one like by myself. I'd always fished, but I caught a bass by myself, like a good one, on a Zoom trick worm, just dragging it down the bank. And there's something about a kid, and I'm a fishing guide, so I see this all the time. But like when a kid catches one the first time by himself, and he's like, "Oh, this is what it feels like," So that I was hooked from then on out. My grandparents would keep me in the summertime and days I didn't have school. My parents would work, and they had a pond on a golf course, so I got kicked off a lot. But I was a I made my way out there and fished every single day and treated it like I was practicing for the Bassmaster Classic, whenever I was out there fishing the golf course pond, and fell in love with it and just kind of snowballed. And high school fishing started. It wasn't really that big whenever I first got into it. And I was kind of in that, massive growth spurt where we went from having 30 boats in our tournaments to, by the time I graduated, there was 250. And just kind of was right in the meat of all the massive explosion of everything. College fishing was the same way. I was kind of right in that curve, and COVID too helped me out a lot. As bad as that is to say, I was in high school, graduating high school, and I got to fish pretty much every day for a year because school got canceled and I didn't have nothing to do. And I'm a fishing guide, so I was out there every single day fishing somewhere. And I had live scope at that time too, so that helped me out just tremendously, just seeing everything like that. And then I went to college at Carson Newman University in Jefferson City, Tennessee. They're a big college fishing program now, and they were whenever I left. When I started, it was a pretty small deal. And I went to school there for 4 years and fished Cherokee and Douglas Lake. And, man, those places were, draining, to say the least, because they just weren't that great.
Mm-hmm.
But traveled all over the place and blessed to have that opportunity and met some of my best friends. And I kind of developed, I'm not going to say a negative, but kind of a negative outlook on professional fishing through college, because it was kind of in that train of where social media was really getting to be, forced on us a bunch because we were wanting, and I was like, I don't want to do that, or, I'm not going to do it that way, or that's stupid. I don't want to make a living making Instagram posts for somebody else. And I really didn't understand like the whole dynamic of everything. And and I was also traveling around the country fishing for free, in college, so, and not winning any money when we would do good. So it was kind of it was a fun time, but it gave me a negative outlook on the sport. I still love fishing tournaments, but when I graduated college, I took like a year and I was not doing a whole lot other than guiding, and worked at my granddad's auto parts store some, and was not I love, working with the family, but I knew that wasn't my passion.
Right.
And I had lunch one day with my grandma, actually, and my Mimi, I call her, and I almost took a middle school business teacher job last year, or the beginning of 2 years ago, I guess, 2024, and I applied to be a middle school business teacher with my business degree, to get the retirement and the benefits and guide, and it would allow me to bring in dual streams of income was my thought, and the retirement and everything. I could still fish and have a full-time job. That was my thought process. Looking back at it now, I'm like, holy moly, man. But yeah. I talked to my grandma. I was sitting there, and she just straight up asked me, she said, do you really want to teach? And I was like, well, I mean, not really. And, this is a couple of years ago, fresh out of college. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And she's like, well, do you not want to try and fish? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but it's, really expensive, to get started. And I'd always posted on social media and, had people that helped me out in sponsorships, like small stuff, nothing crazy. And she's like, well, what, sometimes, if you really think that that's where God wants you to be and your passion, then you just have to, lay it all out there on the line, and he'll meet you halfway if you put in the work. And, I had a lot of things, a lot of things that happened in my life, personal stuff that kind of showed me that that's where God might want me to be in that kind of rough, rocky road time frame that I'm telling y'all about.
Pounds. I was really thinking about my mid 90s.
My bad.
But yeah, it was like a rough, rocky time frame right there. And I was, a couple things kind of showed that to me that might be what I needed to do. So, man, I just laid everything out there, spent a bunch of money that I didn't need to be spending, and just sent it. started a YouTube channel. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna approach it from all angles. And man, I don't know. I started to see a little bit of success. Had a good first tournament of the year, and last year, didn't set the world on fire, but had some good tournaments and enough. And my channel grew enough to where I could get some brand deals and, make it worth doing this year. And I don't know, man. It's super blessed, and doors have been really opening for me lately. And I don't know. I've had a lot of good turns the last year to where, the other day I caught that big one, and it's easy to, be thankful and praise God when you're on a mountain. But man, the other day I caught that fish in that tournament, and I just fell down on the boat and took my hat off and was like, man, thank you, Jesus, for that. Because I mean, I'm very, very fortunate and very blessed for the last year and everything that's happened. It just seems like, this is what I want to do. So I'm going to keep doing it as long as I'm able to. And I don't know. It's my passion and my dream. So I'm going to do everything I can to make it work. But that was the long-winded version of kind of, who I am and what has made me do what I'm doing right now.
Dude, I them golf courses, man. I remember being a kid and growing up sneaking into golf courses.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says something about a golf course, man, it brings back some good memories.
Just a rebel without a cause. You're just going in there.
I know. Well, you drive by them all the time, and they look so juicy, and you're like, man, I know there's some bass in there, and I know I'm not supposed to be fishing them, but when they get hard,
man, you got to sneak in there.
Yeah, you just got to try it, and we've got chased out a couple times, and we got. I remember one time. I can't remember if I told the story on here. I might have, but I got a couple real short little golf course stories. But we snuck in there one night and set out trout lines, and we had so many catfish that we could not carry them out. We made multiple trips, and I think we had like 5 or 6 5-gallon buckets full of catfish. And I don't know. Nobody needs that many catfish. We were stupid, but we wanted to keep
we did it anyways.
Yeah, we couldn't even pull the trout line in. It was so heavy. But we're chasing the sun. The sun's coming up, and there's like 3 of us, and we both got all 3 of us have like 5-gallon buckets full of catfish, and we're trying to sneak out of this golf course. And we put them in the back. I had an 81 Buick Skylark. I think I paid like $200 for it. My mom bought it for me. The transmission was stripped out. It was all rusted. Awesome. It was a straight up hoopty, man. And we threw all them catfish in the trunk, and I guess we cleaned them all. I don't even remember, but we went back another night, and there was a guy, I guess he was a groundskeeper, and he started chasing us around. We were throwing black buzz baits, man. Just it's addicting.
Having the time of your life.
Yeah, just loving it.
I had friends that would meet me at my grandparents' house, and we would go out there and we'd fish in the morning before the tea time started, and then we'd come back in and eat lunch. Then we'd go back out there, and we'd always stay out there late in the evenings. But I would literally steal, because I didn't, I was young. I didn't have any money to go buy tackle, or like it was rare I went to a bait shop. So I would take a bag of worms from Dad's boat and go out there with a pack of hooks. And I didn't even halfway know how to rig one up. Like, literally, this is how I figured out about a wacky rig. I didn't know how to rig a Texas rig like he did until, like, I sat there and just really tried one day. So I would just hook it in the middle and throw it out there. And I'm like, gosh, this works, like, really good. And, but I didn't process in my brain. But I had this one, like, camouflage Jimmy Houston fishing pole, and I'd throw it out there with some Cajun red line. And I remember vividly just that line. You'd throw it out there and just let it sit there, and I'd work it every now and again. And those fish were so aggressive. That line would just literally, it was like a slinky, so much memory on it, and it would just straighten out and just start swimming. I'd be like, I've got one, and just get it. And it was the most fun. Catch no big ones, but like, small ones to like 3-pounders. And we would keep our best 5 and have tournaments. And some of my fondest memories are definitely at the pond. I literally live right across the road from it right now. There's no real fish in there anymore, but man, it used to be special. I would be out there if it was halfway frozen over, I would be out there chucking it. And I learned a bunch just from fishing. I'm sure y'all did too. Just from fishing those ponds, you learn a lot about bass and just fishing. And I feel like there's fewer and fewer farm ponds that are good nowadays.
Or
That used to be a lot bigger thing than it did now.
You get shot at going to some of these dang farm ponds. I mean,
I know.
Well, and it's a couple bad apples ruin it up for everybody. But
I know.
Yeah, you get people coming there and they put trash around the bank, and then that's the farmers like the property owners like that's it. Nobody else is coming in. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's fewer and fewer places to go. I remember I would go pond hopping. Well, before I had a driver's license, buddies that had them, we would drive around, and I would know ponds to go hit. Or we would see one on the side of the road and go ask the homeowner if we could fish there. And got a lot of no's, but every once in a while we'd get some random yeses. And I've fished about every pond in the surrounding counties, and some of them were unbelievable and just had some straight up giants in there. And some of them absolutely sucked, but I wish there was more good ones now because it'd be a lot easier to film some content,
Yeah. I remember that old Cajun Red line, man. I used to have
Cajun Red, baby.
Yeah, that was like the line when it first came out for whatever reason.
Absolutely. That red line. I haven't used it obviously in a really long time.
It did have a lot of
never break it,
No. I remember that.
Well, yeah, it was all great because I couldn't see it. I was colorblind. So, it never meant a hill of beans to me because it's like, my dad would be like, I can see that line so good. I'm dude, I can't.
Yeah, you ain't got a clue.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
We got real comfortable on that golf course. And the last time that I fished it, we decided instead of parking in the subdivision next to it and walking through the backyard of a business and hopping the fence and going in that way, we just decided one night at I guess it was midnight, we just drove right up on the golf course and parked right next to the clubhouse. Just kids, stupid, we jumped. We'd been in there several times and nothing really happened. So anyway, we're down there fishing, and all of a sudden we see a cop rolling in there. Next thing you know, there's spotlights shining through the fairways, and we ran up from the back side, and there's some kind of little, it wasn't an outhouse, it was a little shed or something, but we ducked inside that shed, and it had wooden slats, and we were standing there was two of us, me and my buddy Jason, and we were sucked up on the inside of that little shed, and you could see that spotlight shining through the slats just coming around us.
Gosh, y'all knew you were busted.
Dude, we were busted. And then
the sad part is he hasn't mentioned the golf course he's at, but I know exactly where he's at.
Yeah, there's a Burger King next to it, and so we're like, okay, we're thinking, well, if we just stay here, he'll eventually leave. Well, I forgot that my car was there, and my car has a license plate on it, and they can run the license plate, and they can tell exactly who the car belongs to. So next thing you know, the cop's on his little PA, and he's like, Gabe Montgomery, we know you're out there. Come out.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so anyway, we come out
this or what?
Yeah. He just, nothing really came out of it. I think it was one of them deals where we had to go up the next day and talk to the CEO of the golf course or whatever it was, and just apologize.
Just the worst.
They dropped the trespassing charges and all that. But that's the last time that I ever went on that golf course. I learned my lesson the hard way, but
I might get a wild hair and just sneak on one. The nicest golf courses I've ever played, oddly enough, I see the biggest fish in their ponds. So I ain't got nothing to lose. I'll just slide out there, and who knows? I bet I might be able to find a juice hole on a nice course around here if I tried really hard.
Yeah.
I
they
don't
get
know.
that fertilizer runoff too.
Yeah, that'd be something. I would gladly go to jail for a good golf course pond bath. I mean, if there was a pond full of 10-pounders and I get to make a few casts, you can take me to the big house, dude. I'm good. I'll find my way out of it somehow, but I would go to the pen for some 10-pound bass in a golf course pond for sure.
That same golf course that we're talking about is where we used to frog gig at.
Oh, I've done that plenty of times. Yeah. We were
different though. We were a little bit smarter than Gabe was. We had permission.
Yeah, I've not had any permission, but not going to say any course around here, but there's some that have some mighty plump frogs on them. And me and my buddies would go down there, and anytime a car would drive by on the road, we'd be like, kill them, and we'd kill the lights, and all the lights would go out. But, we would just gig this, the biggest bullfrog you've ever seen. We'd have massive frog leg fries.
Well, they wouldn't, you got big old cooler. They wouldn't fit across I'm not saying a big old cooler, but a cooler. They wouldn't one
Dude,
frog.
Some of these things look like jackrabbits that we were digging down there. They were absolutely huge.
That's fun, man.
Massive.
So what'd you think about that? We had Matt Steffen on here last week, and he fished that dual threat team tournament deal as well.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that?
I think it's going to be, it's the greatest content making opportunity that's ever been, that I've ever seen. I'm fishing with Robert G, and me and him have a great time. We're great friends. Rooming with Scott and Hillary Martin. So we're traveling around and we're making, good stuff out of it. And the money is great. There's been a lot of controversy and drama around it right now, and I'm kind of not right in the middle of it, but I'm definitely, interested to see how it progresses. I'll say that. But yeah. I do think if it, continues on, that it could be humongous for the industry. It could be awesome. There's a lot of this type of just odd tournaments coming about now, and you wonder what ones are legit and which ones aren't. I kind of fished. I felt like I was a part of one of the first ones that there was a no live scope one on Lake Lanier a few years ago. It was like a $5,000 entry fee with a big prize. A buddy of mine, Alan Brooks, put it on. It was 100% legit from start to the finish, and it was the most fun tournament I've ever fished. The payouts were insane, and it's high stakes tournament, but high payouts, and everybody loves, fishing for a lot of money. So no matter what the criteria is of the rules or anything like that, you mention a $300,000 to $1 million payout, you will come out of rocks and caves and everywhere to try your luck,
Oh yeah.
But this dual threat is I've been so excited about it for forever. When the no entry fees thing came out, I was like, this almost sounds too good to be true. It is so awesome because, dude, like for guys that are getting paid by sponsors and have to allocate their sponsor money, towards entry fees for the year, saving you $15,000 to $30,000 that's life changing, for the year. That's big time stuff. You can do a lot of stuff with that extra money. So I do. I'm excited to see where it goes. I hope it continues on. I've had a great time in these first two tournaments. Missed the cut at Okeechobee. Didn't have the best tournament there. Just fell short of the check line. But St. John's, we cashed one there, and everything's been good. I'm all about simplicity. Like, these tournaments have been very simple. Like, I don't care. As long as the anglers get paid, I am good with weighing them on the bed of a truck. And like I could care less. As long as everybody has fun, we can make content. If the people that are pouring into this trail get what they need out of it, if it's promoted the right way, and us the anglers are responsible for that most of the time, plugging the trail and really showcasing just how awesome it is through our YouTube channels and our Instagrams and all that stuff, which everybody is doing a great job. I think it could be huge. I think it could be absolutely huge. I've had the best time fishing those things because so many of my friends are in it, and it's fishing together, and it brings back that old team tournament style of, some trash talk, and it's fun. I really hope it continues and hope it works. Ethan, the guy that runs it, has been nothing but nice to me. Super good dude, very vocal from the start, and I think his vision is pristine and pure, and I hope it works out and continues.
Yeah, there's some absolute. I was just looking at the roster here. There's some absolute hammers in that.
It's unbelievable. One of the best fields ever assembled. Really is.
But you briefly mentioned, not to get off the dual threat, but you mentioned that World Bass Enterprises, the $3 million payout. I was listening to that on BTL the other day. And my first thought is, it's great, right? Like, but where does that $3 million come from? Kind of like the dual threat. Where does the money come from? As long as the check's cash and the money spends, everybody's good. But I just wonder, I don't know if I'm the eternal pessimist or what, but where does that money come from?
I know the World Bass Enterprises is a legitimate deal. I know for 100% fact.
Right.
This, it's kind of been a gray area thing. And, if somebody invests a bunch of money and doesn't want their name on something, that's 100% fine. I've never asked. I don't know. I'm just fishing it and I'm just kind of left in the dark and just going off what everybody else says. I've had it's a fishing tournament, man. I love bass fishing. I'm going to show up regardless. As long as people are getting paid, if they're not, then I'm not. But
but at the end of the day, you're not paying to play, right?
Exactly. We're paying to go. So we got expenses to go down there, and it's a big deal, to spend a couple of weeks away from my family and other priorities, if it's not worth it at the end of your day. There's only 52 weeks out of a year, and I just spent 2 of them, potentially fishing for nothing. So right. I think there's, I think it's going to be all right at the end of the day. I've got a positive outlook on it. I think it's a new trail. I'm easygoing, man. I think it's going to be okay.
I want it to work because I think
it's going to be amazing when it does. Absolutely.
I've had that same idea for 20 years. Like, we need a high stakes bass tournament, a team trail bass tournament that's nationwide. But I just never had the balls to do it.
I started watching your St. John's video a while ago, Caz, while I was working out, and you're pretty good with that net, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
G was ripping them in the boat on that day one, I guess it was.
Dude, when we were fishing in Rob's boat, and Rob, I don't know if he's on it. I don't care if he hears it. I don't get many casts at him, which is fine. If we're in my boat, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna be greedy, but it's
it all pays the same, right?
He'll tell me too, on Okeechobee. I'll tell y'all some funny stories about Rob. He's very particular with his live scope, and I'll be watching it. And, for a YouTube video standpoint, I do narrate some things to make it more entertaining for people that are watching. And I just freak out and just get zoned into. So when one is following his minnow, a big one in Okeechobee in this canal, he's shaking it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here he comes. And then all of a sudden it meshes with his bait. And because he was and he goes, hey, whenever you're seeing that, try your best to not say anything when following my bait, because it gets me too amped up, and I miss that fish because you were talking and amping me up too much. And I'm like, bro, really? And then I'll be standing up there trying to look at the screen too. He's like, hey, give me a little room to breathe if you don't care. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just stand back here and just bomb up there to the bank. But I ended up catching our biggest ones in both the tournaments, just bombing up there on the bank. So, hey, I guess I am good for something. But I definitely netted more than I caught at St. John's. But I did catch the big one that got us into the cut. So I think Rob owes me both halves of the check.
Well, I know what you mean about that. When JB, when we're down there fishing with Dale, and you got one coming at that minnow.
Oh God!
And Dale's a guide on bull shows, and he's like, "Oh, here he comes, Gabe! Here he comes! Keep shaking it!" And I'm like,
it gets you too excited.
I miss half of them because I'm so
I'm bad about it, because when I'm guiding, and I can see them, we throw topwater over brush piles, and they'll throw a topwater out there and work it, and I can see them all just come up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, work it, or pause it, stop it, work it, twitch it, pop it, move it, and I'm just saying all these different things. And for somebody that's never fished before, they're really, they're like, oh my gosh, like what all am I gonna have to do? But it is like fish are that smart to where you have to do all those little things to make them bite, you know. So it's out of the goodness of my heart that I do it. You know, I'm not
Right.
intentionally trying to mess anybody up.
Yeah.
I think Dell is intentionally trying to mess us up. Like he is.
He is. He
Yeah,
gets
so Gabe is like 6'3". I'm 6'2".
I'm not 6'3". I'm only 6'1.5".
Okay, whatever. You're still taller than me in boots on. And Dell towers over both of us.
Yeah, Dell's like 7'12" or something. He's pretty
And we'll be standing, you know, shoulder to shoulder. Gabe and I will be, and all of a sudden there'll be a foot that slides between us. And gets on the live scope, and he's like, "There they are, right there. Go after them, boys."
Which is scary. He's got a bass cat too, and that thing already sits like this, and you get 3 people up there. You know, we got probably 700 pounds of human flesh up there on the nose of that thing, and it's like this. You got a little chop, and it gets pretty tight up there. It
gets squirrely up front.
It does get squirrely up there.
Yeah, when I'm guiding and I got like 3 different kids up there, and like there'll be like snot smears and like breathe marks on my scope screen at the end of the day. We don't really get a whole lot done. But it's a lot of fun that way. But yeah, they'll crowd you up there for sure.
Hey, real quick announcement, and then we're gonna jump into some questions. We got a few questions lining up. JB's gonna like this one. We are gonna be giving away a $25 Baitworks gift card, and we're gonna go old school tonight. So keep your ears peeled. We're going to make a reference to Sasquatch sometime during the stream. So when you hear the word Sasquatch, guess a number between 1 and 200. I've got the number written down. I send it to JB, and whoever guesses that number that I have written down is going to win that $25 Baitworks gift card. So that'll be coming up here before too long. Keep those ears peeled. Several questions in here. Let's start with this one. Mario's got one. He says, how often do you use Google Earth as part of your strategy for practice in tournaments?
Yeah. I use Google Earth quite a bit. I get on there and you can see past images and things like that, and, you know, times a year and stuff like that. It's a big deal. If the lake's drawn down, it helps a lot on Tennessee River lakes. So like places where there's stumps or, you know, hard spots or things like that, you know, I can usually tell, you know, the way the current flows a little bit better if I draw the lake way down on Google Earth or like a little stump or something. Google Earth, you're not going to be able to sit there and look at it and just get that massive aha moment for the whole tournament that's going to help you out. But you could definitely find a couple extra spots and maybe some off-the-wall stuff that you might not have known about. And it saves you a lot of time idling. You're like, I know there's a stump there. I know there's a rock pile right here. In practice, when you get there, you have a bunch of high-percentage objects or things to go fish, you know, that kind of speeds up your process. And you can figure out if they're on stumps or rocks or this part of the lake or whatever, you know, a whole lot faster if you have all that info when you get there. It's essentially like going in and getting your own waypoints, you know.
Yeah, it's a super useful tool. I think for all the reasons that you just mentioned, I like it for if you're looking for areas that got like a lot of laydowns and stuff. You know, you can really see them laydowns coming off the bank.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the best things as far as I've found as a use for it is to, because I mean, just like you said, it's nice to go to the lake prepared and have some spots picked out. You can look at your like C map or whatever your lake master. Or
yeah, you can see contours, but
right.
like as
then
far
when you
as like
compare it to Google Earth, it just gives you a better picture. You combine
absolutely. Yeah, I think you can definitely narrow down enough and have a bunch of places to go that gives you a good head start and, you know, just be more efficient. I think Google Earth just, at the end of the day, it just helps you be more efficient on the water.
Okay, Brent's got a question. He says, when should you pick up a crank over a minnow? What conditions or time of the day?
Yeah, crankbaits, you know, time of year is a big deal. You can catch fish on a crankbait 365 days a year. You can catch them on a minnow 365 days a year. Suspended fish, I'm always going to opt for a minnow. if you have forward-facing sonar. If you don't have forward-facing sonar, most of the time, crankbaits, I like to just throw them towards the bank and bang them off objects or hard structure. And if you have any vegetation, to rip them through the vegetation. Conditions for a crankbait, usually like nasty weather or the water's dirty or something like that, a crankbait's going to shine. If it's super calm and clear water, high skies, a minnow is usually a really hard technique to beat. You can throw that minnow up there in the same places that you are your crankbait and just let it sink and get it right up above the bottom and shake it, blind shake it, and you can get plenty of bites that way, with or without forward-facing sonar. So, kind of crankbaits, rule of thumb, if it's nasty conditions or dirty water outside, or, fish just, are super cold and may want a good reaction strike, a crankbait's hard to beat. If you're out fishing for suspended fish, they're blowing up on bait, things like that, or high pressure and slick and clear water and minnows, really, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, and you mentioned you don't have to have live scope to throw that minnow.
Absolutely not. No.
That's been playing a lot. Just this last Gunnersville tournament with the Bassmaster Elites, Jamie Hartman just about won it, shaking a minnow. Of course, Hank Cherry went super old school with that grub, but that was really cool,
that was insane.
I keep pulling those out. So as a content creator, and you'll probably get into this a little more, Caz, as you develop your channel, as it gets more into, you've done some stuff besides tournament fishing for sure. But if you're not fishing a tournament trail, you're trying to create different kinds of content. And I keep one of those grubs. A grub is something that nobody's really talked about. So I've pulled them out several times and had them in my boat with the intentions of going out there when I know they're biting like a little, small 2.8 swim bait or something and put that grub on. Yes. But I haven't done it. So that's something that I'm going to be doing the next couple of weeks is do a little grub video. Cause man, that's a hot bait. It's always been a good bait and they just don't see it.
I've got a box full of them, man. Yeah. And I just haven't really took the time to really try it out, honestly. I used to kill them on that. Yeah, that's just one thing I never really did try that much. I mean, double tail grubs like on the back of a jig or a jig head, but just a straight grub that you throw out there and treat it like a small swim bait. I've never really fished one.
It used to be. There's a lake around here called Wapapello. Years ago, when I fished a bass club, there were some guys that used to take like a fat Albert. And they tack the frigate on a 1/4 ounce weight and flip and pitch with a grub. Instead of swimming it, you flip it. And man, it was a deal for a while. And I revisited it last year or 2 years ago, and it still works.
Absolutely. I've never thought about that, but a good slow fall, on the way down, probably a good way to catch a bunch.
Yeah, it's a good little bait.
How many guys that flip a grub?
Nobody.
I don't know anybody.
You can put whatever piece of plastic on there. Hell, they flip a Cinco. Like they don't do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Good slow fall, and especially like bull shells or Norfolk flipping bushes or something like that. That good slow fall through that stuff. I mean, that would be insane.
And then when you're when you're pulling it out, it's a little swim bait.
Just crazy action. Yeah, you get a lot of bites as you're reeling it out. I bet.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty multi-purpose for sure. Here's another one from Gavin. Chickamauga or Pickwick? Which one you choosing to fish? Game on the line.
Probably Pickwick. It's a bigger lake. It's got smallmouth and largemouth and spotted bass in it. I've done pretty good there this last year in a couple tournaments, and there's just huge fish in there. It's not got like the 10 pounders like Chickamauga has in it. Chickamauga fish are super smart, and Pickwick, they're pretty smart too, but I just feel like there's more bass and you can do more on Pickwick and get away from the crowd. Chickamauga it's very zone related. If you're not in a few different zones, you're probably not around the bass, but Pickwick, you can catch them from one end to the other, big ones all the way through it. There's grass, there's shell beds, there's stumps, current stuff. Pickwick's helped me up my game on fishing a lot this last year. I learned a bunch on that body of water. It's probably one of my favorite lakes.
Yeah. So you fished the All-American on Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I was there too, and
Yeah.
you fish.
I wish we'd have drawn out together.
I know, dude. I saw you. That I'd watched a little bit of your YouTube stuff, so I was kind of knew a little bit about you, and I meant to come up and say hi to you, but you know how it is in the morning. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But that fog delay, that would have been a perfect time to.
Yeah, that was an intense fog delay for a little while there. Let the nerves build up real good.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a fun tournament.
Yeah, what'd you think about that?
Gosh, man, that was a dream come true. Good tournament. I actually got lucky and made it again this year. So it's a lot closer to the house on Lake Murray and a place I got a lot of experience on. So I'm looking forward to it this year for sure. But this past year, it was like MLF rolls out the red carpet for you at the All-American. You get treated like a king. And it's truly two of my great friends, Emil Wagner and Paul Marks, have won it, you know, within the last couple of years. And just seeing how it changed their life and really jump-started their career big time after that was a huge deal. So it's an opportunity to fish for over $100,000, you know, against, you know, just a few guys is a huge deal. So, and it's fun. I love hearing how everybody's stories of how they made it there, because everybody had to do good. There's no slouches fishing that tournament at all. And every co-angler I had there was absolutely awesome. They made it, you know, some other way, you know, than everybody else. It was cool. You make a lot of friends.
Yeah. So you fished with Levi that last day?
Levi is my dog.
He didn't get the hook in his hand that day. He'd already had it, right?
He'd already had it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a nasty story.
Yes. He'd already had it. It was a terrible story. But Levi was with me on, dude, probably the most memorable day. So he caught him really good with me that day too.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did. And at the end of the day, I had like 10 pounds. And I was in 18th after day one with 10 pounds. And I came in that second day, I had 10 pounds. And I'm like, gosh, man, I'm not going to make the cut. Like, this sucks. And at the end of the day, about an hour left, threw a drop shot at this blob and caught an 8-4. And Levi netted it, and we went absolutely berserk, just like, oh my gosh. I actually ended up puking over the side of the boat from adrenaline. And awesome. We were bear hugging, and he's like, that's the biggest fish I've ever seen. And me and him still talk pretty regularly to this day. He's a good friend of mine. But it's something so special when you have somebody in the boat that you really just connect with, which for me, like, I'm a guide, so I get along with just about anybody. And me and a bunch of my co-anglers this past year became good friends. And when you share you have a moment on the water with somebody like that, like that's potentially life-changing, you're like, oh my gosh, bro, like give me a hug, you know, it's the best thing ever. But we had a day and a half that day, dude. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that is one of the I know with like the opens and the pro circuit and stuff, you're trying to move up to the next level. So a co-angler can get in the way, you know, it can hurt your bag at the end of the day. But man, there's something about fishing, you know, in the BFLs and the Toyota series where you got a co-angler and you get along with them. There's good chemistry in the boat and you both have a good day and you make memory.
I co-angled in the opens when they still let them have. I was a co-angler for 3 or 4 years in the opens and learned more doing that than I ever have, you know. And I was with some guys the days that they qualified for the Elite Series and got to see all that. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and I mean it was really cool. Drew out with a lot of cool dudes and learned a bunch about fishing. So I always try to take into the equation that, hey, I was a co-angler too, and, you know, I love it, and it's the best opportunity to ever learn. I honestly hate that they did away with them in the opens because that was, you know, a pretty rare opportunity for guys that, you know, either didn't have a boat like I didn't or, you know, were just getting into it or just wanted to learn like I did too, you know. That was a opportunity to draw out with somebody legit every time and make it really worth your while, you know. You learn every time something new.
Yeah, I waited too long. They started having Kentucky Lake was fishing horrible for several years. Well, last couple of years it's been coming back. So they started having opens on Kentucky Lake. It's only about 2 hours from where I live at. And I had intentions of jumping in the opens as a co-angler, and I just let it slide. And then, now it's gone. Now I can't do it. I should take advantage of it when I had the opportunity.
The Toyotas are really hard to beat, though. Toyota series is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've jumped in a couple of those. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, those are a lot of fun. I had some good codes this year fishing the Central Division Toyotas and things like that. And I plan on doing some of those this year, but I'm pretty stacked with the dual threat and the pro circuit. But I definitely plan on dabbling in some Toyota series.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the new forward-facing sonar rules? What's your thoughts on them? You got to experience, the pro circuit, which is that a 3 hour? You get 3 hours.
3 hours with a lockbox.
Okay.
And, a lot of strategy. There's pros and cons. It's very easy to do. It doesn't take up that much time out of your day at all to make it work. Something that you always have to think about, and you get to practice. I practice the whole time like it's a scope event. And, if I'm around the fish scoping somewhere, I'm going to fish shallow, probably in the same area, just because there's bass around,
Right.
But you can't think about it in a sense of I'm going to have to no scope or I'm going to have to scope. And, everybody's going to have the opportunity to use forward facing or not in the tournament. It doesn't take up a lot of time. I wish people, for the fans of the sport and viewers could tell when people were using it a little easier, but I think that only being on the Bass Pro Tour is, pretty fitting. The only thing I could see where they're doing, like on the Bassmaster side, where they have one tournament with and one tournament without, you can already see it now. Everybody with a podcast or everybody with a mouth is already talking about, oh, well, he wouldn't have won if scope was allowed or vice versa. So there being scope or no scope in tournaments, one with, one without, it's going to allow so much bias throughout the year of people that are going to be like, well, he wouldn't have won if this was a scope tournament, or he would have won if this was a scope tournament, and all that stuff. So I think having a mix of everything in the tournament is, pretty crucial to keeping everybody balanced, making everybody happy. And I love live scope and I love catching them old school. So, having the opportunity to do both, if you're not on them good enough doing one or the other, that's a big benefit too, and you got to make that decision.
What are you giggling about, JB?
I'm reading the comments. Everybody thinks that
Everybody thinks you're mad. You're ready to punch a hole in the wall.
Everybody thinks that I'm in this little box, but they don't see the other monitor that's sitting right that I'm staring at.
Right. No, man, I agree with Caz. It's like man, if you look at the results from that Bassmaster Elite tournament on Guntersville, it's all spread out all over the place. I mean, people that I thought were really going to do good, like Swindle and Randy Howell and Buddy Gross, they struggled for whatever reason. They're down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. One obviously is the weather, and that's just fishing, man. I mean, fishing's like that. It's you can blame it on, well, they didn't have the front looker. They did have the front looker, but to me, it just shows that was a really tough tournament, and you were either around them or you weren't. And I think the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you can look at the results and, there's a lot of really good, well, they're all good fishermen, but some of the locals and the people that have got a ton of history and experience on that lake didn't do as well as you thought they would. And a lot of those guys are traditional old school fishermen, I guess, seasoned veterans, and they didn't do good. So that tells you how tough it was,
Yes.
I mean, so
no doubt, like super tough tournament.
Yeah.
And I do think that it's cool to see like some older fishermen do good, because I do think if this was a scoping tournament, I don't think you would have been able to throw a rattle trap and contend at all.
No, not with the weather. Like a couple weeks ago, when the BPT was there and they were catching them up shallow and in pad stems and stuff, That tournament was a little bit different.
Yeah, you could have done pretty good. But
you could have competed. You know, I'm not saying you would have won, but you definitely could have top 10. Just
but this past, you know, I would bet $1 million that, you know, that tournament would have been won with a jerkbait and a minnow had scope would have been allowed. You know, so I do think it's cool to have some with and some without. I think, you know, Bassmaster's doing it pretty good, but I do think MLF's doing it a little better with their format, allowing all technology to be used throughout the tournament in some way, shape, or form, but there still being that old traditional method to it, you know, to keep everybody happy, keep everybody interested, and keep everybody in the game.
Does it keep everybody happy though? Like,
no, that's not achievable anymore, though. You know, that's a lost cause.
Oh, I know. You see the guys out there is like, see, it's so much better without live scope, and this is all you see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, you got the cameraman is in the back of the boat,
right? It doesn't matter.
He's always going to be videoing forward, and the fisherman is always up in the front of the boat. Most of the time, unless he's fishing docks or the bank, most of the time he's throwing that way. So therefore, you're going to see the back of the fisherman, regardless of what he's doing.
Exactly.
Now, that can't change.
That was always such an irrelevant argument. Like, I don't want to stare at everybody's back while they're looking at us. That's not true.
No.
When I flip a jig, I'm standing to the back too. You know, so it's people want to. A lot of it is, you know, inclusion and, you know, seeing, you know, a variety. Because it does get boring, you know, like most of the time, you know, if most tournaments, if you're not on the mother load of them shallow, it's really hard to contend with scope. And, you know, there being a variety of everything. Like, it was cool, like at the Elite Series tournament, you know, guys had traps, they had jerkbaits, chatterbaits, crankbaits, grubs, minnows,
right?
You know, everything tied on, the whole deal, jigs, and you know, it was good to see a variety. You know, where if it was a scope derb, you know, everybody would have the same things tied on.
Yeah.
About every tournament across the country these days, unless you go to Florida, you go to the blast off in the morning, looking at everybody's rod box, and everybody's got the same baits tied on.
Yep.
And you know, I do think that it's, you know, allowing everything to be involved. And for younger guys or guys that just scope all the time, you know, you gotta go fish some too. You know, you gotta actually, you know, fish without it. I think that's a big deal. But some guys like, you know, Drew Gill, incredible bass fisherman this weekend, he literally won the tournament fishing 9 hours total. And I think he caught 1 or 2 without his scope. But, I mean, that dude beat everybody in 1 hour over one fishing day, 9 hours. They had 3 3-hour periods, and he blew the tournament away by 20 pounds almost in 9 hours.
And when he caught 5, that was his smallest bag. Just put that into perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
it's like
just got dialed in with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's just like, you know, if you're really good and really dialed with it, it's hard to contend with it. I love it. Absolutely love forward-facing sonar. But if it's allowed and the fish are biting it, that's what I'm going to do. But most of the time, though, some of my best tournaments last year came with no live scope.
Yeah, exactly. I think, I mean, you nailed it, really. I like it. I like the hybrid, the blending of the technology and not having it. It just makes things more interesting. You have to be a little more rounded.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be
time if you're a professional bass fisherman, you know, you should be well rounded.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives more things to talk about too. Let's be honest. Like, good, bad, or indifferent, it gives us more to talk about when they can scope and when they can't scope. You know, you got 9 hours over 3 days to use it.
I just think here's what I don't like about it. About how there's certain people that's invested in the non-scopers. And I don't even like all these terms. They're stupid terms. But anyway, that's just the way it is, right? There's like guys that are going to be rooting for the non-scopers and the non-scoping tournaments, and then vice versa. And it's kind of like people are going to side up and they're going to root for their guys and root against their other guys. And that's that, man. Why can't you just appreciate somebody?
Why can't we be friends?
When they won that tournament, however they won it? That's what I don't understand, because I think people that actually have the technology and go out and use it and are comfortable with it and understand it, they realize that you got to appreciate the amount of effort it takes to really get dialed in on it, because it's not.
Oh my gosh,
it's a lot of work, and so is skipping a jig or a chatterbait underneath the dock. That takes a lot of skill. You don't just go out there and for a couple
some
days.
People that that are sitting there commenting about it, that are thinking that it's easy. It's very hard, very hard. I do it 300 days a year, and it's not easy.
Yeah, and I think people that know, they know, and that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah,
but
some nice comments on here.
What's that?
I said some nice comments on here.
Oh yeah. There's several people saying they really like your YouTube channel and stuff.
That's
What do
nice.
you got planned for the rest of the year with the YouTube deal?
Keep posting. I'm gonna keep posting, tournament videos, and I want to try to diversify some things. A lot more tip videos. I'm doing everything myself. I'm sure you do too. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
And it's good to share the memories with everybody else is my biggest takeaway. I can sit there and watch what I did wrong and share it with everybody else. And it's really cool to hear people right here, saying they watched what I caught them on at certain tournaments and things like that. That's really humbling and awesome. I never thought that would have happened, but I do think I do want to start not 1v1s, but I have some ideas that I'm not really going to talk about yet that I'm going to try to start a new series, taking people fishing.
I like those.
And, I've got some ideas about that. Nothing that I think is going to just set the world on fire, but something to diversify it and keep it different. I really want to find a way to film my guiding lifestyle and stuff, but I promised out of everybody that I took last year, hundreds of people, I could only do it with a handful of them, so a handful that would really appreciate it, So
yeah,
I would love to do that.
I thought
guiding bloopers. I could have. Oh my gosh, dude!
So you don't run a camera at all on the boat when you're guiding?
No.
Nope. Okay.
I've had people fall in. I've had people poop their pants. I've had blind guys. I've had the craziest, just sayings or stories told that you've ever heard in your life. I had a guy try to light up a joint with an oxygen tank hooked to him.
Nice.
I mean, just
never give up, man. Never give up.
Why are we not filming all this?
Never give up.
I'm just trying to figure out why you're not filming any of this.
Dude.
But you probably wouldn't want to film that.
Crazies. I mean, but some of the best people in the world and just some funny interactions, I've been hitting the head with a rod or bait so many times. But
how long you been doing that? How long you been guiding?
Since I was 16. I'm 23, 7 years.
Wow, you started early.
Yeah, as soon as I could get my license.
And what'd you do? You just got your license, and how did you advertise, or how did you get clientele?
Let me tell you, it was slow for a couple for a year.
I bet.
But I was in high school, so I didn't really need a lot of business. But by the time I was a senior in high school, and definitely in college, every summer day was booked. And now, I'm booking a lot this time of year. This time of year is really slow, too. But I've got another guy that helps me out some. And in the summertime, from May to October, pretty much every day, I'm taking people out. And I could definitely do better at advertising it right now. But I used to be more. When it was all I did a lot better at advertising it. But I have a lot of people reach out, and the YouTube's helped it out a lot too. But I plan on leaning into it pretty heavy this year. making it more of a premier deal, But we live in a very touristy area, so most of the people that I take have never touched a fishing pole in their life.
Yeah.
I'm just like another attraction,
So, do you like that client better than you like the guy that's a tournament angler?
Absolutely. Their expectations are pretty low,
Mm-hmm.
and when you and they really appreciate the amazing moments.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, the stuff that we see, because this is this is top tier bass fishing. Like, I go out there and have 30 bass blow up on a topwater 20 times in a day, and you don't get to do that. From guys like us that travel the country fishing, we know that's pretty rare.
Right.
And we don't have to get out there for the morning bite or anything like that. And I'm out there with kids, and I'll just tell them, throw it out there and reel it in. They'll throw out there and wind it up, flute back or top waters, boom, boom, and they're like, oh my gosh. And it's just the most fun. It's the most amazing thing ever. I've seen kids just start crying because they're so happy. And, people are out there for a lot deeper reasons than going fishing some days. And, and then you get a tournament guy out there that feels the same way sometimes, and then some guys are just out there because they want your juice. But, that's, but there's very few of those. Most of the people I take, are the, less experienced people that'll get out there and hold a spinning reel, upside down. And those usually end up in a very fun, memorable day for them and me. I can literally, there's very few guide trips that I can't recall. I've had hundreds of them, probably 1,000. There's very few that I can't recall.
So what's your best beginner bait, like a drop shot, or what are you
I used to be a drop shot, but I give them flukes most all the time now. Because you throw it out there and I just tell them to put the rod down and reel, stop, reel, stop. It's like a burn, stop, retrieve.
Yeah.
And if I can get them, to work it and pull it just right, then it's game over. But most of the time, if they can cast, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
And if they let me cast for them, it's going to be a really, really good day. So, but I used to drop shot over piles whenever I was first starting, but those fish have gotten kind of smart to that now. You can't really just go do that anymore. But we used to just go sit over a brush pile, and I'd take 4 or 5 people at a time, families that are up here for the summertime at their rental house, and pick them up, have a couple kids, couple adults, stand on each corner of the boat, get over a brush pile, and I'd say, all right, boys, send them down there. And everybody would just, it was like snapper fishing or something.
Nice.
So it was really cool. But now it's more of a, kind of a one cast deal. And I get, it's very specific and it's tough to get it drilled into people's heads. But this lake is really good. So it makes my guiding life a lot easier than it could be. But I have some absolutely incredible moments out there that I wish I could share and I wish I had on camera. But it's honestly special to, just having my heart and my memory bank too sometimes. A lot of first fish deals. That is the coolest thing in the world. Be a part of somebody's very first fish. I've had people that are 70 years old catch their first fish. And, people that are, a year old, 2 years old, literally like kids that are still almost in diapers, reeling them in. And I've seen, and repeat clients where, I've seen kids that were really, 2 years old that are now, 6, 7 years old. Sorry. Dang it. And,
I got 11-year-old, man.
Dude, yeah. It's the most used. I'm not even going to get on that tangent, but
no, please don't.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cool to see kids grow up, honestly. I was really young when I started taking them, and now I'm, been through college, and a lot of people became like family, man. It's cool.
Now, what lake do you guide on? I know you've said it a couple times.
Lake Chattooga.
Okay.
Yep. It's like a 7,000 acre lake, blueback herring lake right on the North Carolina-Georgia border. It's in the Appalachian Mountains. It's a really pretty area. Blue Ridge, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. I live in Hayesville, North Carolina, and Hiawassee, Georgia. It's a beautiful area. It really is. My family's 6 generations from right here, so I grew up fishing around here, and so did my family. So we take it for granted, but a lot of people come here to visit. It was a good business opportunity.
Yeah, that's a beautiful part of the country. We went to that Healing Appalachia Festival last year in Eastern Kentucky with Tyler Childers and Chris Stapleton, and
yeah.
I love that area. It's just like you said, it's this beautiful area. It's God's for sure.
Yes, it really is, man. Blessed to live here for sure.
Yeah.
That lake looks like it fishes really big too.
Yeah, there's 130 something miles of shoreline. It's only 7,000 acres.
It's just I'm looking at it on the map, and
it's good from one end to the other, bro.
Really?
Yeah, sure is. I'll be able to run 50 or 60 spots in a day, no problem, and every one of them will be loaded.
You said that's a tourist area? You get a lot of tourists?
Big time.
I got you.
The summertime here, man, it's unbelievable. Every Airbnb's booked. We got restaurants, we got a water park on the lake, resorts, like they're all full. It's crazy.
Okay, so the lake is a big tourist area as well.
The lake is the main attraction.
Okay.
It really is just a shoe, and it worked really, really good.
Well, just zoom out just a little bit, and there's a handful of lakes that are.
Yeah, there's a lot of lakes.
Nice.
I was looking at that. You got this lake right here.
Lake Burton. My biggest bass ever came out of Lake Burton. 11.5 pounder on a jig under a
dang. Oh, big.
Have y'all ever seen the video Southern Trout Eaters by chance with the? That was.
I have. It's been a while, but yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah. Lake Notley.
Yeah, these are all like kind of
smaller lakes, less than 12,000 acres, and they're all within I've got Chickamauga's an hour and a half, Lanier's an hour and a half, Hartwell's 2 hours, Gunnersville's 3 hours. But the amount of small lakes that we have, there's 30 or 40 little lakes that all are wide variety with all species of bass. Carter's Lake's unbelievable. There was like 5 20-plus pound bags of straight spots weighed in there this past weekend.
Dang.
There's just a bunch of just hammer holes around here, man.
Yeah. You got Cherokee, which you don't want to go back there, but
no, that's not my favorite. No.
We've been there. We went there in the fall when they draw it down like 40 feet or whatever, 30 feet.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You're looking way up on the hillside, and that's where your brush piles are out of your stake beds.
Yeah.
Huh.
You're like in Mecca of bass. I'm just looking at the map, and you're within 3 hours of everything.
Everything.
Wow.
You don't get the crazy cold weather.
No, not necessarily. We don't get like a freeze or nothing like that.
Well, man,
it's a good area though.
You're I've been enjoying watching your channel. I don't watch a lot of YouTube just because I'm constantly like creating content. But
since I started it, I don't watch hardly any of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You get so usually when I'm working out, that's when I'll like put on a YouTube video and watch it. But I've been following some of your latest adventures, and it's doing good, man. Your numbers are good. And I think one of the reasons is because you're real, you're just keeping it organic, and you're just kind of capturing your trip as it happens. I like the little gas station stuff where you go in, you buy crappy gas.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just kind of rolling with the punches. I'm doing it all with my iPhone and a couple cameras or a couple DJIs. So I'm just rocking with it. I'm the most low tech person. I've edited every video that I've ever done on my iPhone. So I've got the worst system that you could possibly imagine, but I can do them pretty quick and it works somehow. But it's a lot of fun.
What app are you using on your phone to do that?
CapCut.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never edited on a phone. I know like Latimer, Brian Latimer, he exclusively edited on his phone for a long time, and he kept growing and growing off the phone. So.
Yeah, I've got a Mac and I've got all that stuff, but the hard drives and all that stuff just kind of freaks me out.
Well, one wrong click and everything's gone, right?
Don't even tell me that because I'll never use one.
Yeah,
but I want one day to have somebody to help me out, if it keeps growing enough to where it makes sense. But right now it makes absolutely no sense. And I love doing it on my own and just having fun with it. I want to keep it real. I just hope that there is a way to grow to big numbers being like this.
There is. It's a slow process. I mean, you're moving along pretty good. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's true.
You're rubbing shoulders with one of the best that's ever done it, right?
Sure. Yeah. Scott and Hillary, they kind of got it figured out.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Michael's got a question. He says, "How do you go about finding floaters on lakes?"
Let's see.
Follow Drew around?
It all depends on the type of lake. Usually if I'm on, like, say, the Tennessee River, for instance, Chickamauga, Pickwick, Kentucky Lake, fish that are floating on bait, I usually look in creeks and stuff that's out of the current a little bit. Stuff that's on the main river and in the current, those fish are going to suck to stumps, or they're going to school up on bars or ledges or current breaks. My lakes around home and, other more traditional lakes that aren't just ripping current through them all the time, mostly places like I'll look at the channel, the river channel, anywhere it swings up next to something and you got a big flat next to deep water, that's like a pristine area around. Yeah, some dude commented, "Follow Drew around." That's pretty funny. That's true.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah, Florida, for instance, like I look in canals a whole lot. Those fish, the water's kind of dirty and they live down there near the bottom a lot of the times, unless there's a bunch of bait around. But that's pretty much how I look at the map. Anywhere the channel swings up next to deep waters. One dude said, "Have you found floaters on Kentucky Lake?" Yeah, for sure. Any of the creeks, around Paris, Big Sandy, if they're clear, I ride and look until I see bait or birds diving, and there'll be bass floating around. A lot of drum and catfish, but look for the fish that are swimming on your screen pretty quick. And those are most of the time be bass. They're usually not super deep in the water column. They're usually, say you're in 30 foot or floating over 30 foot, they'll be 15 foot and shallower, and they're just swimming, and usually in single groups.
Is that something that you can do 365 days out of the year on a TVA?
Yeah, for the most part you can. Not in the summertime, those fish kind of get on the main river because it gets really hot. And they just want to get out there on the main river and let the current feed them. But this time of year, I'm going to say from September through March, April, you're going to have fish that are eating shad in creeks and things like that.
What's your thoughts on Sasquatch? You ever ran across any, or you're bumping elbows with a lot of different type of folks in your neck of the woods? You got
you kind of live in that area too.
Yeah. Never seen him.
Never seen him. Okay.
Never heard anything about him.
Really?
No. Holy moly.
Yeah, just wait.
Here they come. JB's in charge.
You guys made a comment a while ago about me wanting to punch the wall.
Yeah. I've never seen Sasquatch. Don't know if he exists. I'm gonna call his bluff. And I'm gonna say there's enough rednecks in the world, and especially in our part of the country, that if Sasquatch did exist, somebody would have shot him by now.
He'd be on trail camera already.
Yeah, and maybe not on trail camera. People hunt with dogs around here, bro. Like, they'll sniff him out and chase him, and he will get busted.
We got a winner, by the way.
We do.
That was quick.
Is it at
9:18?
Yeah. Okay. Let me pull it up there.
I mean, there was only like 45 comments at 9:18, but whatever.
I think I saw it.
I'll send it a text. There you go. You got it.
There you go. Curtis. Congratulations. That was short. Sometimes this could take up to 5 minutes. And I like it. The longer it takes, the more I enjoy it, because I get to watch JB over there suffering. His eyes are glazing over.
I was ready. I had the glasses ready tonight if it got too deep. So
yeah, Curtis, you know what to do. Get a hold of me and I'll take care of you.
Sweet. There was a couple questions. I saw maybe a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, Hardee's or McDonald's.
Hardee's.
Okay.
What was that you ate in one of your videos that really kind of tore you guys up? It was something you got in a gas station. I can't remember what video that was.
Gas station sushi or something?
All the above.
No. So me and Rob were at the St. John's and we were at Okeechobee.
It was Okeechobee, yeah.
And Rob got a chorizo burrito from this gas station. And he said, he made the comment, he said he pulled a Shadur Sanders and had to take the Browns to the Super Bowl.
That was it. That was good, man. That was a classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic. You need to cut that out. That's a little short.
Yeah, that's a little juicer there.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
Harden says he's going to Chattooga in March, spring break specifically, so beginning of March. Any tips for that time of the year?
Yeah, man. So hit me up if you want to go. I'll be around. But if you can go catch them, that time of year, these fish are floating. You can catch them on minnows floating over the river channel and in all the creeks. Go to all the major creeks, drop your trolling motor, throw an Alabama rig going down the docks when the sun comes up and reel it down the sides of the docks and fish for suspended fish out in the middle. And you'll catch some mess out of them.
There you go. Let's see if we got anything else down here.
Yeah, there's nothing more sketchy than gas station burritos.
Man, I live off gas station food most of the time, and I've got an iron stomach at this point. I've ate some questionable things from gas stations over the years.
I'll never forget. I was rolling through one day with my buddy of mine, and the roller dogs, right? And we walked by them, and you could tell they've been on there for a minute.
Yes,
he's a hell of a lot more braver than I am, and he looked at the little gal behind the counter, and he's like, "How long has that one been on there?" And she goes, "Well, long enough. If you want it, you can have it."
Holy moly!
And he's like, "Heck yeah!" And there was two of them on there. He got both of them.
They said day old's half price, and he
rolled with it. I mean, like it was nothing. I mean,
well, it's probably got enough preservatives in it
that's the bubble guts waiting to happen there.
Oh,
you just can't think about it. It's a mindset, and Rob's always like, "Oh, it's gonna tear me up."
Okay, so
it's a mindset.
You fished in college. I fished a little bit in college as well, and we were broke as a joke. Like,
yeah, man,
9 of us in one hotel room with extension cords running everywhere, and we would stop at Taco Bell and we would get 2 12-packs of tacos, and that would last us all week.
Value meals.
And
we were Jimmy Dean, and I'm a Vienna sausage and potted meat dude.
Oh, I can't do that, man.
Yeah.
I'm with Gabe on that one. I'm out on the Vienna sausage.
Maybe I've done the Vienna, but the potted meat, I don't know, man. There's a guy at work that's trying to give me some head cheese the other day. He's like, "Hey, I got some head cheese. You want some head cheese?" And then he starts talking about how they made the head cheese. And I thought it was, so I've heard of it and I might have had it, but I don't remember what it looked like. And I know what it's made out of, sort of. But I asked him, I was kind of being smart. Like I said, if you took all the nostrils and the earlobes and all that juicy stuff out of it, what kind of cheese would it be? And he kind of looked at me and I said, "Is it like mozzarellas and Americans at Colby Jack?" And he goes, "Do you even know what it looks like?" And I was like, I feel like I do, but maybe I don't. So he pulled it out and I'm like, "That just looks like some kind of like summer sausage and stuff." And he's like, "Well, what that is, it's all the pieces from the hog's head, and I don't even know what all's in it. It's a little bit of everything, but that's like the gelatinous, gooey crap that creates some kind of form. It gets kind of hard, not hard, but just hard enough that it's an object, and then you slice it off, and that's head cheese." And I said, "Nah, I'm good, bro. I appreciate it, but
some things ignorance is bliss."
Yeah, exactly.
Gabe, you remember Eli, right? Eli Torres.
Oh yeah.
Well, Eli's from his roots are in Mexico.
Yeah.
and he's not like he's first. I guess first you'd call him first generation here. Like
Yeah.
his mom and dad still live in Mexico. So when he starts cooking, you just don't ask. Like it's good. You just
he was on a hunt for what was it, pig stomachs or something at one time?
He had
tripe. Is that what they call that?
I don't remember what that one was. He sent me a picture of a cow tongue one time that he was like,
He's like, weird stuff.
Dude, I'm out.
No, I'll give me a cheeseburger. I'm good with cheeseburger. So
cheeseburgers, ma'am.
Paradise.
Cool. Paradise. Segued into that one good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's wrap this up, man. It was fun talking to you. I always like to end on one question before we let the guests go. If you had 2 hours to fish and you only had one bait and the fish were going to crush that bait like they'd never seen it before, what bait would that be?
A topwater frog.
Topwater frog.
My favorite thing in the world. One that eats a frog and you get to absolutely break his nose.
I love to get talk, especially this time of year. It's like cold and seems like we're so far away from a topwater bite. It just sounds really good.
Yeah, man, it just sounds awesome. Y'all need to both come up here and fish with me this summer if we ever get a chance to. Y'all please come. It's absolutely unbelievable. Like the fishing is nothing like. I mean, it's. I take everybody that I can just so they believe me on how good it is. So it's fun.
Need to put that
we don't get that until the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And when the fall bite, we get about 2 weeks that is just.
We get a good post spawn bite sometimes if you can hit it right, but that sounds fun, man.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't think it's probably like 8 hours from us, maybe something like that. I was trying to think of
just a chip shot.
Yeah, just a chip shot. It ain't nothing. Just
man. Nothing to it.
Just got to do it. Well, any closing words, thoughts, shout outs?
Thank y'all so much for having me on. I've had a great time. Just been talking to a couple buds, it feels like. So that's awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you. I'm going to need it. Y'all too.
Oh, it's only 7.5 hours. We're good.
That's no big deal.
Yeah, we could drive up there.
We can be there by noon and still catch a few in the afternoon.
Heck yeah. The afternoon bite's the best.
That's right.
All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Go check out Caz. He's got some good stuff on his YouTube channel.
Thank y'all so much.
If you want to get a guide trip, give him a call, man. He's available.
Yeah, man.
So, all right.
Thank y'all so much.